Our story begins with the retelling of the origins of two of the most iconic superheroes, Superman and Batman. Batman narrates Superman's story, while the Man of Steel does the same for his fellow caped crusader. We see the Kents discovering baby Clark in a crashed rocket ship on their farm. And we see a young Bruce Wayne leaving the cinema with his parents on that tragic night. Besides the fact that it is the heroes recounting their own stories, everything else appears to be normal until Jonathan and Martha Kent are electrocuted by a mysterious being, and the murderer of Bruce's parents is similarly dispatched by another undisclosed individual. It seems now that history is being rewritten, but by who? A confused and frightened Bruce Wayne looks up to the man who just avenged the murder of his parents and asks who he is, to which the unknown man responds,
"Your future, Bruce."
The man, whose identity is still mostly hidden in the shadows, helps Bruce to his feet and consoles him.
"You did nothing wrong, Bruce. I'm here to take you to a better place, a better time."
This dialogue tells us that these mystical super beings are from the future, or some alternate timeline. What follows next is a montage of sorts depicting the systematic eradication of what would have become the Justice League. Scientist Barry Allen is shocked to death on the night that he would have become the Flash. Green Lantern's story is similarly brought to a premature ending, and Arthur Curry's parents are killed on the night of his conception, meaning that Aquaman was never brought into existence. We flash forward to the future to find a fully matured Clark Kent and Superman, living seemingly normal lives in present-day New York. Both Clark and Bruce are leaving home for the day after having spent the night with their lovers, Lois Lane and Selina Kyle. Both heroes continue narrating the lives of their counterparts.
"They gave Lois Lane to Clark. They told us it seemed fitting, and there were some things in the universe better left untouched."
Of all the women they arranged, Selina Kyle has currently caught his interest.
From the narration delivered here, it appears our heroes are aware of the fact that these futuristic beings are bending the fates of others to their satisfaction. Here's when things start to get even weirder. We see a colossal statue of Batman and Superman overlooking the city. The city's skyline is dominated by a pair of buildings reminiscent of the World Trade Center, and we find Bruce and Clark reporting for duty in the building's penthouse office. Thanks to the manipulative powers of their so-called parents, Clark and Bruce have become the richest and most powerful men on the planet. We see an engraving on the side of the statue, "Obey or die." Perhaps these time travelers have changed more about our heroes than we suspect. Bruce tells Clark to suit up. He has a little birthday surprise for his brother and partner in crime. Batman and Superman interrupt the Green Arrow, who is rescuing a supposedly innocent couple from a squad of police, who the Green Arrow refers to as fascists. Here's another clue that this version of New York City is under authoritarian rule. We learn from the narration of our fallen heroes that their purpose is to rid the world of costumed vigilantes, which Clark refers to as small pockets of resistance. When the Archer sees Superman and Batman, he refers to them as the Hitler twins and says,
"Isn't there an entire country you two should be oppressing?"
Green Arrow shoots Superman with a kryptonite arrow which causes some damage. Batman launches into action, threatening to kill the Green Arrow for hurting his brother. After taking a solid crack across the head with the Archer's bow, Batman starts beating up the Green Arrow. Batman's beatdown is interrupted as Superman lasers the Green Arrow to death. The Man of Steel recites the engraving on their statue.
"Obey or die!"
Superman and Batman meet up with their parents in their space station, known as the Watchtower, to celebrate Clark's birthday. Only now do we finally get to learn the identities of these mysterious beings. Batman narrates some background info on their parents.
Traveling back in time from the 31st century, they remade the world. To this day, anyone who could stop us is either dead, forgotten, or will never exist to begin with.
The trio of parents are made up of Mekt Ranz, Lightning Lord, the master of the power of the sky; Liver Bolto, Cosmic King, who weaves the elements of the periodic table to his will; and Eve Ares, the Saturn Queen, who possesses telepathic abilities. Superman narrates that it is thanks to his mother Eve that he and Batman have been able to share the dream of their parents. Next, we see Wonder Woman trying to wake up a homeless man and urging him to remember who he is. Wonder Woman wraps the man in her lasso and succeeds in awakening Uncle Sam. Diana is aware of how the parents of Superman and Batman have been manipulating history to serve their desires, and takes Uncle Sam to the burial site of the Green Lantern, where they uncover the ring. Uncle Sam is a worthy wearer of the ring and harnesses the power of the Green Lantern. Uncle Sam and Diana go on to recruit some hiding heroes to join their cause. They find Phantom Lady working as a dancer in a club. Uncle Sam goes into the mines to retrieve the ray and releases the human bomb from Arkham Asylum. Diana recruits Doll Man from a toy factory. Meanwhile, in the space station, Saturn Queen senses that something is wrong and that trouble is brewing. Cosmic King nonchalantly suggests that it doesn't matter because they can just go back in time and fix it. Cosmic Queen says that their time-traveling escapades have already come close to unraveling the timeline entirely, and that they cannot do it again. We learn that this time-traveling trio have been using Batman and Superman as a sort of front line against resistors to the world that they have been seeking to build. We find Superman and Batman currently on a mission for their parents, where they have taken out some kind of magical community in the Himalayas. They are looking for someone in particular. Suddenly, Superman falls under mind control and begins attacking Batman. Batman repels Superman with a kryptonite grenade and causes the entity controlling Superman to reveal itself. It is Deadman. Batman locks Deadman in a crystal prison before reporting to the Watchtower on their parents' command. Wonder Woman and Uncle Sam lead their troop of heroes into battle against a legion of brainwashed heroes from the future that Saturn Queen has manipulated with her powers. As soon as the band of heroes have dealt with their opposition, Superman and Batman arrive on the scene, and an epic battle ensues. During the fight, both Clark and Bruce mention their concerns about this particular battle because both of them sensed something was wrong with their parents. They sensed a level of concern that neither of them had witnessed before.
I so admire Macht. What on earth could worry him?
It's hard to tell how much they know, but I could see behind our mother's eyes. Her powers couldn't hide it. Saturn Queen was afraid.
Wonder Woman gets the upper hand on Batman and plunges her sword into his heart, killing him. Superman is enraged and destroys the giant eagle that Uncle Sam has created using the Green Lantern's ring. Superman kills Uncle Sam with his laser vision and takes Batman's body back to the Watchtower. Superman returns to Earth to seek vengeance against Wonder Woman. Diana tries to use her lasso to help Superman break free from Saturn Queen's mind control, but Superman ends up strangling her to death with the lasso. The remaining heroes have broken into the Watchtower to try and use the time machine, but Superman catches them in the act and begins massacring them. Superman lasers the human bomb, but the time bubble has already been activated, causing his atomic energy to mingle with it. This causes a reaction that rips reality to pieces. Watching the chaos unfold from an alternate dimension are Metron and an older version of Superman. The aged Superman recalls that he's already gone back in time to fix things once. But Metron says that he fears that if Superman does not go back in time again to the point of impact, then everything that ever was will cease to exist. Superman and Batman find themselves in a post-apocalyptic dimension. This alternate reality is run by talking apes, and there is kryptonite everywhere. Superman is slowly dying due to the kryptonite in the air, while Batman fights off the talking apes. Superman and Batman are aided in their fight against the apes by a band of rebels led by Kamandi. Kamandi refers to Superman as the Promised One, the greatest of all heroes, as if he is part of some kind of prophecy. Batman refuses their help, and as the surrounding kryptonite brings Superman nearer to death, the reality that they are currently in starts to unravel.
It's happening again. Everything ending around us, as if we were never meant to be here.
Batman and Superman wake up under fire in yet another alternate dimension. It seems like they are stuck in an old Western movie. They are taking fire from a bunch of cowboys, and Batman is severely wounded. Superman is beginning to remember pieces of what happened.
Hero, that's what the boy called me, and the woman Diana back at Liberty Island said the same thing. I remember pieces of what happened now. The human bomb set off an atomic explosion. At that exact moment the time bubble was activated. We must have ripped a hole in the time stream, and various realities are collapsing in on themselves.
This reality collapses after Jonah Hex kills Superman with kryptonite bullets, and Scalp Hunter slits Batman's throat. Again, they have jumped to another reality. Superman recognizes this place and says they are on Acropolis, the planet of Darkseid. But Batman recognizes Earth's moon. Superman says that this must mean that they are on Earth, and they must go and see if they can find their parents. When Superman sees Darkseid and the older version of himself, he is confused.
Acropolis was destroyed. I took what was left of Earth and made it my own.
The older Superman informs his younger self that what they see around them is what will happen to their Earth if their so-called parents are left unchallenged. Young Superman tries to attack Darkseid, but he is hindered by old Superman. And judging by what the older Man of Steel says, they have met before.
I've told you in the past, Clark. I'm older than you, stronger, and given our current dilemma, much smarter.
Darkseid says that even though there are countless ways that he could kill Batman, he does not want to. He has his eyes on the time pirates who are ultimately responsible for this mass temporal unraveling. Old Superman explains how in every other timeline, Batman and Superman inevitably die horrible deaths.
History holds tightly to her truths, Clark. You two are the aberrations.
After some debating, the duo agrees to return to the point of origin to rectify things that were done in the hope of restoring order to the universe. Batman and Superman are transported back in time to the day when baby Kal-El's ship crashed on the Kent's farm. Younger versions of Lightning Lord, Cosmic King, and Saturn Queen arrive on the farm, but flee the scene when they realize that Batman and Superman have somehow altered the time stream to arrive before them. Saturn Queen says that if they do not leave immediately, they'll cease to exist. Clark watches with tears in his eyes as his beloved true parents retrieve his infant self from the rocket. Witnessing the moment seems to flood Superman's memories of who once was, or rather who he was meant to be. Next, they arrive at the scene of the murder of Bruce's parents. They watch as the thief points a gun at Martha and Thomas Wayne. Superman urges Bruce not to intervene.
Bruce, you know we can't interfere. We're here to find Cosmic King, nothing else.
Despite Superman's warning, Batman leaps into action, preventing the murder of his parents, and shoots the robber in the head. Almost as soon as the bullet leaves the chamber, Batman disappears from sight.
With the Waynes alive, Batman ceases to exist.
After Bruce prevents the death of his parents and essentially writes Batman out of existence, Superman finds that the situation in the present is even worse than how they left it. Tanks and soldiers fill the streets with one objective: to fire on anyone wearing a cape.
Not wanting to further damage the timeline, I've returned to the present, or at least that's what I intended. But this city, it isn't Gotham, New York, or Metropolis. It's some kind of amalgamation of all three. I'm afraid that in trying to make things better, we've only succeeded in making them worse.
Superman realizes that in this reality, Ra's al Ghul came to power because there was no Batman to stop him. Superman returns home to Smallville, where he finds all the locals trapped in a concentration camp. He frees the prisoners before being swarmed by a fleet of Blackhawks. Superman fights off the aircraft before heading to Wayne Manor. He knows that if he wants to set things right, he'll need to find Bruce Wayne. It is Halloween night and Clark rings the doorbell. A man in a Batman suit answers the door and lets him in. It's Thomas Wayne. Clark finds Bruce by the pool, surrounded by supermodels in swimsuits. Bruce asks if he knows Clark, saying that he looks familiar, but Clark denies it. Bruce and Clark step aside from the pool party to have a private word. Clark shows Bruce his Superman symbol and tries to jog his memory by reminding him of certain facts from the night when his future self intervened in the robbery outside the cinema. Clark takes Bruce on a trip down memory lane to the actual site of the incident, hoping that it might stir up something inside of him. Bruce starts to recount the events from that evening, and Clark pushes him even further. Bruce finally remembers that night as they actually were meant to happen. and suddenly his memories are restored, including Batman's memories. Bruce tells Clark that if they're going to succeed, they'll need the help of the Justice League. Batman and Superman infiltrate Ra's al Ghul's base in the Alps and revive Green Lantern, Flash, Aquaman, and Martian Manhunter from the Lazarus Pit. The duo wonders how Ra's was able to hold the whole world hostage all on his own. Even for him, it seems like an unachievable feat. But it's no surprise that Ra's has had help from some familiar faces, plus two newcomers known as Beauty Blaze and Echo. Batman, Superman, and the revived members of the Justice League prepare to go to war. Superman narrates his concerns about Bruce's fighting ability, considering the fact that this version of himself has not experienced the same hardships.
He never trained the countless hours. His mind is Batman. His body is an athletic billionaire playboy.
The ensuing battle is fierce, but soon Ra's al Ghul's outfit of villains starts to gain the upper hand. Cosmic King has Superman in his grasp after turning the iron in his blood to kryptonite, while Ra's al Ghul mocks Batman's swordsmanship. The Flash and Green Lantern are the first to fall. Soon after, Martian Manhunter and Aquaman meet a similar fate. Superman breaks free of Cosmic King's hold and sees that Batman is in trouble. Ra's al Ghul is about to deal his final blow. Superman knows that without a Batman in this timeline, there can be no hope of victory, and so he throws himself in front of Ra's kryptonite blade and sacrifices himself for Batman.
And all at once, seeing Clark's sacrifice, I remember the dark rage that once consumed my life.
Batman rips the sword from Superman's chest and swiftly decapitates Ra's al Ghul. This sequence of events causes Echo and Beauty Blaze to be eradicated from the timeline. Superman recovers due to the fact that Batman removed the Krypton blade from his body, and together they go on a vengeful rampage against their foes. Batman and Superman subdue their pretender parents and refrain from killing them because they recall that Darkseid told them that if they want to end this reign of madness, they have to stop it at the point of origin. Using Metron's calculations and Darkseid's temporal boom tube, Superman and Batman travel into the future to the 31st century, where they hand over their captives to the Adult Legion. As Batman and Superman prepare to return to their time, the leader of the Adult Legion bids them a warning.
The journey back may allow you to see things that may have been or never were.
As soon as our heroes depart, we see that Cosmic King, Saturn Queen, and Lightning Lord are wiped from existence as the time stream heals. On their journey back to their own time, both Clark and Bruce are faced with some tough realities, lives that aren't their own. Both heroes find their worlds intact and fully healed by the time stream. However, their memories of what they have experienced remain. Batman and Superman meet to check in on one another while watching the Green Arrow fighting crime, and they find some kind of catharsis from the occasion.
Seeing Ollie alive, as cantankerous as ever, it helps.
Next, they take a trip to the Watchtower where Superman makes amends with Wonder Woman, even though it confuses her to hear Superman's seemingly unprovoked declaration of friendship. Superman joins Batman by the graves of his parents and consoles his friend. Both of them will be scarred forever by what their false parents made them do. The story ends with old Superman turning in for the night, feeling content that order has been restored and that things are as they ought to be. What did you think of this story? Leave a comment down below and make sure to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care.